What's your longest relationship?
My longest relationship is 8 years.
8 years, and what happened?
I cheated on him.
It
Yeah.
happens. Part of life.
Happens.
How long have we been dating for?
I don't know.
Yes. And you think I cannot be on my own because I'm on a wheelchair and you're cheating on me?
It's not
This is what I find?
It's not what you think. Like, he's a nice guy, a nice coworker. He does nice things for me.
Really?
It's not,
You decided to trade me for him, for that? I thought it was better. I'm better than him. What's your problem, man? And you know what? I'm filming this. This is going to social media.
Have you had sexual relations with any of your husband's friends and never told him about it? If you answer this truthfully, it's worth $100,000.
The answer is yes.
That answer is true.
Well, Shannon, you've earned $100,000.
We're done. You and me are done. I'm done with you. I'm done.
You guys dating?
Yeah, we've been dating for like 4 years, real serious.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Hey, actually?
Yes.
4 years.
Long time.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you guys are probably like trust each other then, right? Like you guys are loyal.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Of course, no problem.
Are you down to find out if your girl is on any dating apps right now?
Me?
I am because I trust her 100%.
I don't know about that. I feel like we should.
Right, you'll be fine, right?
But why?
Well, yeah, just to see if you're on a
You don't
dating.
trust me?
No, I do, 100%.
We're using Cheater Buster AI right now. It's basically going to use AI to tell us if she's on any dating apps. And how old is she?
She's 19.
Where is he from?
Chadwick.
You just have like a picture of her. You could like airdrop me real fast. Just so, like,
I got you.
Yeah.
I hope I don't see you on any of these.
I'm not going to be.
It's
I will freak. I will actually
literally,
freak.
you trust me.
Is this her?
That's
This
not
you?
me.
Dude, that's you.
That's literally not me.
That's you on the app.
Someone literally
That's your
must-
picture.
that's literally
That's all your
someone must
information.
have
That's
made
literally you on the app. I'm telling you that's you on the
I'm
app.
literally telling you that
This is her Tinder profile. Like this is.
That's literally not me.
Babe, why do you
That's
have Tinder?
not me.
Why do you have Tinder?
That's not me. I don't have Tinder.
Dude, you know what?
This is the end result of feminism. You are the perfect end result of feminism. In the world I believe in the conservative, traditionally masculinely ruled world, a man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that. You know, women complain that men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared, and they complained about the patriarchy, and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices.
When Andrew Tate sarcastically called Bonnie Blue's 1,057-man body count peak feminism, he wasn't joking. He was throwing a mirror at society and saying, "Look what you've done."
You are the perfect end result of feminism. That's destructive.
And he's right. This is what feminism has become. Not strength, not equality, but self-erasure, disguised as empowerment. We've created a culture so twisted that women now boast about behavior that should have been a red flag for trauma, not a resume for TikTok stardom. Let's be real. No healthy, self-respecting woman offers her body to over 1,000 men unless something has gone catastrophically wrong. But instead of helping her heal, society claps like trained seals. "Yas, queen, slay," they scream, while ignoring the spiritual decay behind the scenes. This isn't confidence, it's learned numbness. It's a generation of women so hollowed out by hookup culture and online attention that they think validation equals value. Today, girls are raised to believe that modesty is weakness and boundaries are oppression. They're told to chase freedom, but what they catch is emptiness. Intimacy has become content. Love has become a transaction. And men? They're either disposable or the next customer. It's not feminism anymore, it's commercialized self-destruction. They're just too blind to see it. And society doesn't just allow it, it rewards it. The more outrageous the behavior, the more followers you gain. The more you degrade yourself, the louder the applause. We're not just watching the fall of femininity, we're watching its auction. Bonnie isn't the villain, she's the product, a victim of a culture that sells pain as power and shame as confidence. And until we call it out, more women will follow her path, not into liberation, but into psychological ruin.
Most women do exactly what Bonnie does. I don't see you any different than most women. And I'm not saying that in a degrading way.
Most women don't sleep with 1,057 men in a day.
1,000? Does it fucking matter?
I think it does.
I don't really think it does.
So
it's all disgusting to me. If I met a woman and she said, I just sucked a dick yesterday, I'd say, well, I find you repulsive. I don't want to sleep with you. Goodbye.
What, so you're only going after virgins?
Well, it's not about only going after virgins, but I think if you're a straight man, the idea of having a bunch of men fuck a woman that you're with, it's pretty repulsive.
But everyone has a past.
But see, this is the kind of shit white people say. I don't know what's wrong with you people. Everyone has a past. That's not acceptable. In fact, let's analyze that. Everyone has a past. You're right. Everyone does have a past. It's true. But isn't the primary objective of a man to find a woman with as little past as possible? Would you argue that's one of the precursors to finding a wife? Considering that wives were supposed to be virgins.
Whether it's 10 men or 1,000, the damage runs the same. A woman treating her body like a pay-by-the-hour commodity, chasing validation instead of self-respect. Morally, the number doesn't magically excuse the emptiness left behind. It's all the same cycle of using sex as a band-aid for deeper wounds, a temporary fix for a hollow soul. Let's drop the polite act. Casual sex culture has convinced women that freedom means selling themselves wherever, whenever for attention, money, or ego boosts. But this so-called freedom is a trap. It's not empowerment, it's emotional bankruptcy, dressed in Instagram filters and fake smiles. The thrill of the moment doesn't erase the psychological toll of detachment, distrust, and the death of genuine intimacy. Women who parade their conquests like trophies are often just desperately trying to fill a void they refuse to face. It's validation on demand, but it's validation from strangers who don't care. They never did. Morally, it's the same story, whether it's 1 or 1,000, a self-inflicted wound disguised as liberation. And society? It's complicit, cheering this self-destruction like it's some kind of victory lap for feminism. It's twisted. We glorify the number, the clout, the attention, while ignoring the wreckage inside. The truth is ugly. Sleeping around without meaning isn't freedom. It's selling your soul for a quick hit, leaving behind a trail of emotional debris no one wants to clean up. So yeah, the price is the same. And nobody talks about that, because it's uncomfortable. But the silence only makes the damage worse. Empowerment without boundaries is just an excuse to keep falling, and falling hard.
Women have then said, we don't like the patriarchy. We're tired of being provided for. We're tired of being taken care of. We don't want to listen to anybody. We want to make our own decisions. That was women and feminism that ended the traditional family unit. And now women can make their own decisions. So I'm glad that Bonnie's making her own decision.
This convo right here shows exactly how messed up things got. Women saying, we're tired of the patriarchy, tired of being taken care of. We want to do our own thing, sounds cool. But honestly, it's just them throwing a tantrum and ditching responsibility. Acting like you don't want to be provided for or listened to isn't empowerment, it's straight up childish rebellion. Then Bonnie Blue comes in, bragging about using her body however she wants, whenever she wants, like it's some kind of badge. Newsflash, running around reckless ain't freedom, it's self-sabotage. Saying, I do what I want when I want, sounds more like someone lost, trying to convince themselves they're in control, when really they're not. The whole traditional family unit thing, yeah, it wasn't perfect, but it gave structure and stability. Feminism tore that down. And now women are left stuck in a mess of meaningless hookups, emotional chaos, and fake wins. Making your own decisions is great, until those choices leave you feeling empty, and nobody really respects you beyond the surface. This ain't power. It's a desperate cry for something real, dressed up like rebellion. It's a world where protection and partnership got tossed out for confusion and loneliness. Bonnie's proud flex is actually a big red flag. If you gotta shout how free you are, you probably ain't free at all. And in what world did getting as many dicks as you can fit, till you can fit them, become empowerment? Bottom line, this empowerment is a trap made of bad choices, lost values, and a culture hyping self-destruction. Women deserve way better than this fake freedom, but until they wake up, the chaos only gets worse. And when they do, will they be able to get back whatever they have lost? Society will probably be burnt by then.
If you're going to go to Dubai and meet a girlfriend, and you think she hasn't been fucking for money the entire time she was living in Dubai, then you're an idiot. If you're in Miami and you got girls on your boat and you think they're not fucking for money all of the time, now they may not say per hour, but they'll be fucking a guy they barely like to get the rent paid, or they're fucking a guy they barely like because he has a car.
Yeah.
So women are fucking for money all the time anyway. That's all women do now. The entire Western world is women fucking for money. So how hypocritical would it be for me to sit here and say, Bonnie, who is honest, who monetizes it directly with her own media empire, who's upfront about it and makes money from it, is a worse person than the girl who walks around like she's goody two-shoes and then sucks dick in a Magaluf toilet. Because that's what most girls are doing anyway. Rob, the world's fucked.
This, right here, is the ugliest mirror society's holding up to itself, and nobody wants to admit it's accurate. Like it or not, this guy's not pulling this out of thin air. If you think a chick in Dubai living in a high-rise, or a girl flexing on a yacht in Miami isn't trading sex for comfort, lifestyle, or rent, you're delusional. It's not always money-in-hand prostitution, but the transaction is still there, loud and clear. She may not be clocking hours, but she's still playing the game. And the game is, who can I tolerate just enough to fund my lifestyle? That's the quiet part nobody says out loud. A lot of women today are selling themselves for stuff, just not on paper. They'll sleep with a dude they barely like because he's got a Benz, not because they're emotionally or physically attracted. It's strategic, it's calculated, and yeah, it's sex for resources. But it's all wrapped in a bow of independence and dating standards. So here's the kicker. The rant's not even defending Bonnie Blue. It's exposing the hypocrisy. Bonnie's not pretending. She's just doing the same thing blatantly and making cash doing it. Meanwhile, the classy girls out here are just as transactional, just sneakier about it. They won't admit it, but they're out there lining up for free dinners and rent-paid dick appointments, acting like they're somehow better. The Western dating market turned into a marketplace not for love, but for leverage. So before anyone judges Bonnie, maybe take a hard look at how common that same behavior is, just with fewer OnlyFans subscriptions and more designer bags, gifted by dudes they don't even like.
We live in this great society now where women are girl bosses and better than us, while also are equals at everything, while also everything they do they regret was a man's fault somehow, as Bonnie described. They were tricked into it. So we live in this impossible situation where a man can't possibly win anyway, no matter what opinion he has.
I don't have an opinion. That's what men are reduced to saying now. Not because they actually don't have thoughts, but because any opinion that doesn't worship the modern woman gets torched instantly. We live in a society where women are better than men, equal to men, victims of men, and owed everything by men, all at the same damn time. It's a joke. A man literally cannot win, no matter what stance he takes. If he criticizes women, he's a misogynist. If he stays silent, he's complicit. If he praises them, he's a simp. The entire game is rigged, and everyone knows it. Women have been handed a free pass. Do whatever you want, however destructive, and if it backfires, just blame a man. He tricked me, he groomed me, he manipulated me. Never accountability, never self-awareness, just eternal victimhood, wrapped in empowerment hashtags. And then Bonnie Blue enters the chat, slept with over 1,000 men, monetized her sexuality, and turned her body into a business. Everyone clutches their pearls, like she's the downfall of society. But here's the kicker. She's just doing out in the open what most women do in the shadows. The classy girls, sleeping with guys they don't like for rent, cars, clout, and convenience. They're just less honest about it. So, when did the downfall really start? So yeah, this guy's right. It'd be hypocritical as hell to bash Bonnie when she's no different than the majority of Western women today. In fact, she's more transparent. She's not playing the "I'm innocent" card while cashing checks behind closed doors. Modern dating has become one big scam, and men are the ones getting hustled. The new rules? You provide everything, take all the blame, and shut your mouth. And if you speak up, you're the problem.
So do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years. Of
what?
Taking control of your body.
Correct.
Being independent. I earn my own money. I don't rely on a guy. I'm
Girl
paid
power.
Exactly. I'm paid more than other
100%.
guys.
100%.
Do you think
she is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years? Absolutely correct.
And now
I'm not going to sit here and lecture you about God. I'm not going to sit here and tell, no, that's all bullshit. She is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years.
Yeah.
Women believe that they can do whatever they want.
This is exactly what modern feminism has morphed into. Not equality, but entitlement. I don't rely on a guy. I make my own money. I can do what I want with my body. Sounds powerful, right? Except now it's become a free-for-all where consequences don't exist and moral standards are thrown in the trash. Bonnie's being called a clear example of what women have been fighting for. Think about how insane that sounds. Women fought for the right to vote, to work, to be respected, and now that legacy gets hijacked by a woman who brags about sleeping with over 1,000 men and calls it freedom. That's not empowerment. That's the complete collapse of self-worth disguised as independence. Being independent isn't the problem. Making your own money, hell yeah. But if your version of power is turning your body into a product and your sex life into a business plan, you're not a role model. You're a billboard for spiritual bankruptcy. This isn't feminism. It's consumerism in lingerie. Women have been lied to. They were told they could be like men by acting worse than men ever did. No accountability, no discipline, just do whatever you want, with zero thought for what it turns you into. You don't build a strong society on that. You build a circus, where everyone's pretending to be happy while quietly falling apart. And now we've got girls growing up thinking that selling their body online, chasing attention and bragging about being emotionally numb is something to aspire to. That's the freedom they've inherited. A cold, transactional world where everything, even intimacy, has a price. So if Bonnie is the product of what women have been fighting for, then it's time to admit the fight went horribly off course. Because what they got isn't power. It's a polished version of self-destruction, and it's being sold as a success.
They're all whores anyway. If you're going to be a whore, no disrespect, you may as well be fucking good at it. Get a media empire, get rich, let everyone know your name, and get paid. Why are you going out to the pub, getting drunk, and meeting a man who's funny, and getting fucked in a toilet for free? Are you dumb?
They are, though. Women are stupid.
They're stupid. So Bonnie's just the smartest. She's the Wall Street banker of this hoe shit.
What Andrew is doing here is slick. He's not defending Bonnie. He's exposing the stupidity of the entire culture that created her. On the surface, it sounds like praise. She's smart. She built a media empire. She gets paid. But dig deeper, and you realize he's mocking the system and the women caught in it. He's saying, if you're going to sell yourself, at least do it for top dollar. Don't be the idiot doing it for free behind a pub toilet. That's not admiration. That's an indictment of where we've fallen. He's not elevating Bonnie. He's just pointing out that she's the most efficient product of a broken society. The Wall Street banker of hoes? That's not a compliment. That's a brutal metaphor for how transactional womanhood has become. And it hits hard. Now let's be real. If the best defense of modern womanhood is, well, at least she's getting paid for it, then it's game over. We've lost the plot. We've raised an entire generation to think that being used is fine as long as there's a receipt. That turning your body into a business plan is peak empowerment. And worse, he's right about the rest. Most women out there aren't even getting anything out of the deal. They're drunk, chasing attention, letting some dude with zero value hit it in a toilet stall just because he made them laugh. That's the standard now. That's the bar. And Bonnie's only different because she marketed her self-destruction better. So Andrew isn't praising Bonnie, he's mocking the game. He's pointing out that whether it's toilet sex or OnlyFans, the results are the same. A hollow culture, women selling themselves cheap, and everyone pretending it's empowerment. It's not power, it's survival, dressed up as success, and no one's winning.
I guess I contradict myself a little bit because I help society out a lot. And I do that because well, do you see how many dicks I drain? How many balls I've been emptied out on my face? How many cream pies I've taken and scooped it out? Like,
And how does that help society?
sex workers help, like, reduce rape rates by over 30%.
That sound like a stat you just made up.
No, Google it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Mental health, it's good for mental health as well. It
The
stops
true
men
fact is
killing
32%.
themselves. Yeah, it stops men killing themselves. Sex work is an important part of the world.
This is where we've ended up. A woman genuinely believes that getting cream pied for cash is a form of social service. That draining strangers and getting blasted in the face is somehow noble, as if sex work is the unsung hero of modern civilization. It's beyond delusional. It's pure clown world logic. This isn't empowerment, it's self-degradation with a PR spin. She lists off sexual acts like battle medals, as if taking a load somehow earns her moral points. I help society, she says. No, sweetheart, you're not curing cancer. You're not stabilizing economies. You're not building families or lifting communities. You're letting strangers use your body for a price tag and then calling it therapy. And that nonsense stat, sex work reduces rate by 30%? Yeah, that's the kind of fake data people throw around to justify degeneracy. You could Google it, but no real expert is standing behind that with a straight face. And even if it were true, is that the best we can do now? Trade dignity for damage control. That's not progress. That's desperation. The argument that men are mentally healthier because they have access to sex workers is just sad. If the only thing keeping men alive is paid ejaculation, then we've already failed them. That's not a solution. That's a symptom. A symptom of emotional detachment, spiritual collapse, and a society too cowardly to talk about real connection. Sex work isn't noble. It's not healing anyone. It's not fixing loneliness. It's not building anything. It's just numbing people, both the men who buy and the women who sell. And the more we pretend this is helping, the further we fall into a black hole of moral decay. This isn't a contribution. This is collapse, and we're watching it happen with a smile and a subscribe button.
And they don't want husbands. Women want to get married, but they don't want husbands. They want to get married like Sex in the City style. You know, like you fuck a million men, then you get married to some really rich guy who lets you do whatever you want. Then you have an affair with the gardener, and then you spend all his money, and then somehow you're still the victim. That's the kind of marriage they want.
That's
they
most
don't
women's
want
dream.
That's right. They don't actually want to be wives, because wives are obedient, and wives are quiet, and wives listen.
This hits dead center. Modern women don't want husbands, they want weddings. They want the dress, the photos, the clout. They want to post a ring pic, throw a party, and collect praise for finally settling down. But actually being a wife, taking on loyalty, duty, sacrifice, and accountability? Hell no. The ideal marriage today, thanks to shows like Sex and the City and 1,000 delusional influencers, looks like this. Sleep around through your 20s, brag about finding yourself by destroying your soul and body, and then magically land a rich man at 35 who gives you full freedom to do whatever you want while he funds your lifestyle. You cheat on him, disrespect him, emotionally neglect him, and somehow you're still the victim if the marriage collapses. It's absolute insanity. Women today aren't being raised to be wives. They're being taught to be takers with a victim complex. They want a man to pay the bills, shut up, tolerate their emotional chaos, never lead, never correct them, and still be considered a real man. Meanwhile, they refuse to be led, nurtured, or cooperative in return. That's not a wife. That's a liability with lipstick. And let's be real, the reason so many women don't want husbands is because deep down, they know being a wife means giving up the illusion of control. Wives used to bring peace, support, and structure. Now, the modern woman sees submission as weakness, loyalty as outdated, and obedience as oppression. So they chase weddings but flee marriage. What we're left with are broken homes, broken men, and women crying, "Where have all the good men gone?" after treating commitment like a joke. If marriage is just a trophy, not a role, then don't be shocked when it ends in flames. They want the title, not the responsibility. That's the cold, ugly truth.
Society from female sexuality, because female sexuality is unchecked, unlike male sexuality. Female sexuality, if it goes unchecked, results in some degree of chaos. All religions are telling women not to be overly sexual for a reason, because they know how society ends. That's why I said earlier we're in the end times.
This right here is the part nobody wants to admit. Unchecked female sexuality has always been a force of chaos, not because women are evil, but because when there are no boundaries, the structure that holds society together collapses. Every ancient culture, every major religion didn't just pull rules out of thin air. They warned against rampant female promiscuity because they understood its long-term consequences. Fatherless homes, unstable children, weak men, and broken communities. What we're living in now is the end result of ignoring that wisdom. Modern feminism told women, sleep with whoever you want, whenever you want, and if anything goes wrong, just blame the patriarchy. So what did we get? A generation of emotionally damaged women, a collapsing marriage rate, and men checking out, refusing to build, provide, or lead because there's nothing left to protect. Bonnie isn't the disease, she's the symptom. She's what happens when society trades discipline for dopamine, family for followers, and modesty for monetization. And Andrew hits the hardest point without shouting. Maybe God won't judge Bonnie. Maybe he'll judge the entire culture that raised her to believe degradation equals empowerment. Maybe he'll look at a society that clapped for her and punished men for daring to say this is wrong. But here's the twist, and if you're sharp, you caught it. Andrew didn't bash women to kill feminism, he used their own logic. He took the feminist mantra of do what you want with your body, showed where it leads when taken to the extreme, and held up a mirror. Bonnie's the final boss of female freedom, and it's not pretty. He didn't need to argue, he let the results speak. And with that, he didn't just criticize feminism, he exposed its rotting core. Game over. Thanks for watching Manhood. If you want access to exclusive episodes and want to support the channel, hit that join button and become a member. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if it hit home. Drop your stories and thoughts in the comments. We read everyone. See you tomorrow.